overview of the hike we went on. So anyway, as you can see, the map here, this is the Garden of the Gods area. This was the tentative trail that we were going to do, and we, as usual, did a little bit of exploring and got off and took some other trails. But we parked over here, and we came up like this and went down and came up over here and down around here. And then about right in this area, we decided to cut down this way. And we went right down in this section right here, and then we came down and went to right in this area. And we came over here, and on this little ridge line in the video, the previous video, you can see where we ate lunch. We were down here. There was a little ridge and some rocks up here that were really cool. And when we were done with that, we came up this area, somewhere in this area. The road was here. I think we were actually on the north side of the road when we were going this way. But then we got to the recreational area of Garden of the Gods, and there's video of that too. And it was a really cool experience. Then we came up here, and then this little section right here, believe it or not, was extremely confusing. There are so many little bluffs and ridges and things like that to see, and there's so many trails that just kind of veer off, so you can go see every one of those. And then there's other trails from there where people are just going down in between them and all this stuff, so it's a little confusing on trying to navigate your way through there. But it's fun. It's one of those things that wasn't a lot of miles, so we could pill around and look at everything. And then as we went on up, we went up here and went down this way. And right in here was where we had we had never hiked this before. So we just was looking at the map and the geography and stuff, and thought that this could be a good flat area, and so it would be a good place to camp. And so we were going to camp in there, but we actually decided to keep on pushing a little bit, and we ended up pushing down and around here. And so between this section and right in this, everywhere right in here, there's 3 or 4 really good campsites. They are all close to water. I will say this whole area I don't know about the summer and how dry it gets in here, but at least while we were here in the spring, everything had water, and it had plenty of places to get water, so water should not be an issue. But like I said, I haven't been here in the summer. I don't know how dry it gets, so that's something to keep in mind. But we camped down here on the stream, and it was nice, good time. And then we came down here, and we had planned to do this big part down here, but somehow we ended up going down through this section. And the funny thing about this entire area, the signage is really poor. If you read the reviews, they'll say it's hard to figure out where you're going, and I was kind of laughing, thinking, yeah, it can't be that bad. But it is actually difficult. I mean, we hike, me and Adam hike and do this kind of stuff, and we got turned around and ended up going this way instead of that way. And at this loop, this little intersection here, there is not just 2 ways to go. There is multiple ways to go. And what I think has happened is I think someone has made a trail or something through this area to make a shortcut or something of that nature. And so anyway, long story short, we ended up cutting through and going down here. And we did the Indian Point Loop Trail as well. It's beautiful. If you come to Garden of the Gods, everybody goes to this little area. I would highly suggest going to the Indian Point Loop Trail as well. It's just really awesome. It's a good place to take your kids. The bluffs and the ridges and everything are really cool to overlook and see. You can just see forever, it seems like. But then there's also really cool little bitty caves and things that you can climb up in and get around, and they're not super deep or crazy. So for kids, or if you had a group of students or something like that, it would be a wonderful place to take them. And then we came back up and we made our way out, and we had originally wanted to go back up this way, the way that we had came down. But what happened was, with all that rain, my only complaint to this trail is the horses. We love people who ride on horseback, but it does make it very difficult if you are a hiker when you're walking on horse trails and it's been really muddy. We got lucky and they didn't have a lot of rain, so when we came up this section, you can tell the horses are on it heavy. You can see it in the video. But if it had been muddy, it would have been really bad, because there's a lot of uphill on this section up here. So anyways, when we came down here, this last little section, between here and here, if it has rained, you're almost up to your knees walking in mud. It was bad. I weigh about $130, and I usually don't sink down into mud, but I was sinking and sliding quite often. And so yeah, it was a little rough. Not too bad though, because that was really the only section that we had trouble with. And like I said, if it's not rained heavy or anything like that, the horse trails won't matter. But it's just something to keep in mind if you are a backpacker, especially if you're going long distance or you have a heavy pack. It can make it quite challenging. But then we came down here, and since we missed this big part right here, we decided to go on down here and come up this area, and then this little white isn't actually a trail, but it's a gravel road that connects back down to where we had parked. Overall, it was a wonderful trip. I think me and Adam had a great time. We got to, like I said, take our time. It wasn't a lot of miles or anything like that. We got to enjoy ourselves. We got to catch the views. We got to do all those sort of things, and it's just kind of nice. A lot of times I think when we can go hiking, we always want to push those miles, but if you can get like some miles in that are like still good, 12 miles still feels good. It's not like a 3 mile hike. Like that was some significant mileage with some up and a little bit of elevation, and the beauty of this place is unmatched for the area. So if you're anywhere near this area, I would highly recommend to check it out. And even if it's just a day trip for you and your family, just to come down and go to the recreational park. And then I would highly suggest the Indian Point Loop Trail. I think it's about 2 miles, so just about anybody could do that. It wasn't a hard hike or anything like that. And so those are my thoughts on that. And overall, it's a good experience, and I really enjoyed that and enjoyed hanging out with Adam and getting to do that.